Call hello, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of Roel. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. This is another quick one, during the week. This is Judge Joe Brown about to go into something. We're only going to play the little first part of it, maybe the first couple of minutes. We'll get a couple scriptures, and that'll be it. This is just, a little snack, a little quick feed for, anybody that happens to see this.
People are talking about unity. Well, let me tell you something about that. I know at least 17 people are dead now in the soil because we believed in unity back in the 60s. But some of these folk that we were unifying with were snitches, pimps, simps, informants, and agents, and sworn officers of those alphabet agencies that were not friends of ours.
Right. Sirach 12:10 obviously tells you never to trust your enemy. And then, back in the 60s, they were, pushing for the whole civil rights thing. That's what he's referring to. If we liken this unto something that is actually beneficial and profitable, there are people like that in the camps, all right, in these, that have high levels of high visibility, and, maybe within, I'm sure they're within all the camps, honestly. If we're going to be honest, there are individuals there. This devil, doesn't change his stripes. He doesn't change his tactics. And we'll get those too. Let me get... we'll get Jeremiah 13:23. We'll get Sirach 12:10 before we go on. All right, Jeremiah 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or can a leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. And he's talking to our people. But as far as this devil and his tactics, he always has somebody in there to, what do you think COINTELPRO comes from? Right? You always have somebody in there to infiltrate and be very slick and submersive and try to blend in. But the thing about this is about this truth, about understanding, about waking up to who you are, is that this is from on high. This is not a so-called grassroots movement, right? And it is not about the people. It is about the elect. So, eventually, whoever those people are, they will get exposed. Their spirit will reveal them. The Lord will reveal them by their spirit. Okay, so let's get Ecclesiasticus 12:10. I want to make sure I grab what we need to grab. Okay, straight to the point. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself to go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his breath has not rust. Gosh, I can't talk. Have not been altogether wiped away. Right? Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. All right. And at the last, remember my words and be pricked therewith. All right. And thou at the last. That's what it says. All right. So you have that. And then also, this not only goes for these heathen, but there are 2/3 of our people. Right. If they don't have the spirit, okay, consider them, keep them at a distance. And we, even with our family, we have people that we love, but eventually, or I shouldn't say eventually, if the Lord so sees fit, they may turn on us, those who truly believe. Your family may turn on you, but definitely these devils, these Edomites, right, with their 3-letter agencies and their subversive tactics and their propaganda and all the things, nothing new under the sun, and especially with them. They are just proficient in doing the same thing over and over. And people fall for it, especially ours, right? Especially certain things like appointing a congressional black caucus, who most of them are Democrats. And not that either one matters, but, if you're looking historically, Democratic or leaning Democratic has done nothing. What else was I going to say before I let him finish? And that they're also all in fraternities. I'm not going to say they are, but it is safe to assume that they are in fraternities and sororities, right? Because these are the tokens that are meant to, keep our people at a certain height or it's reaching a certain level. Okay, and overall that is due to the curses.
And we've got black caucus people who want to take some of that particular three-letter alphabet agency and claim they're our friends. They're not. Anybody know how the FBI got started? Anybody? Not one of you do. Somebody over there. I saw a hand go up. The FBI got started before World War I because there was the first black world heavyweight champion. His name was Jack Johnson. Couldn't anybody beat this brother? And back then they didn't have 12 round or 15 round championship fights. You fought till somebody dropped, and they had 37 round bouts. He won one which was 56 rounds. But he had a white wife. And certain folk didn't like the idea that this big buck Negro was running around this big buck black man with a white wife and all of her friend girls. So they decided they were going to get him. And they created the Federal Bureau of Investigation to set up what became the Mann Act. Anybody heard of the Mann Act?
All right, so we'll look. I pulled that up as well. So we'll look at. Oh no, I didn't. I think it's 1910. All right, the Mann Act, also known as the the White Slave Traffic Act of 1910, is a federal law that criminalizes the transportation of any woman or girl or purpose of prostitution or debauchery for any other immoral purpose. Which is funny, they hit the diddler with that, but there are high level, JEWs and folks in Hollywood that have been doing this for decades. Not to mention CPS is allegedly complicit with the, this word, we'll say transportation, and that word right here, they're complicit in that. But that was that man's lawful wife, or under their eye, I guess he followed the law. He got a marriage certificate and everything. That was his lawful wife, according to here, and they hit him with the Mann Act for trafficking because Georgia did not recognize interracial marriage.
It's what they busted R. Kelly on, and what they've got P. Diddy on right now, though they don't say it. In other words, the objective was to get rid of black men who were out there doing something with a grandstand perspective that offended some other folk. So they created the FBI. They came up with the Mann Act, and before World War I, they got Jack Johnson.
Yeah, but that's going into something else. What I really want to just hone in on is the unity aspect, and be very mindful of anybody preaching on unity because of color. When you understand, or when you have any amount of understanding in this thing, you know that color does not matter. It is a spirit thing, because we, as the Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, were scattered to the four corners. So when the scriptures tell you about that mixed multitude that Christians love to hijack and say that is the actual heathen, no, those is bloodline Israelites that look like the heathen, because it is a biological or scientific impossibility to remain looking so-called black if you have generations have been in a certain land, in Asia or any Moabite or Elamite land or whatever, So we're going to get two more. Okay, and we're talking about being unequally yoked. Actually, yeah, I'm going to read it here, and then I'm going to get Amos 3:3, which just simply tells you, can two walk together lest they agree, right? And you have to be in full agreement under this truth, right? Understanding the names of the Lord, fearing of the Lord. Your spirit has to be upright. And if you fake it, you can only fake it for so long, right? You will be. Those who are not sincere will be exposed. All right, so 2 Corinthians 6:14, straight to the point. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteous with unrighteousness? or with unrighteous? And what communion hath light with darkness? And 2/3 of our people are full of darkness. And anyone, again, that is preaching unity and we don't have to get along, or we don't have to agree in a doctrine, we just need to stick together. No, because just as the civil rights movement showed, you had snitches, pimps, and whores, and alliance with the enemy. The same thing will happen, and that's what this devil wants. But this is from on high, right? This is this is not a grassroots carnal thing. This is from on high. This has come down. This was from on high down, not from the ground up, right? Okay, and then I think Isaiah, because our people, especially, and I hate to sorry to jump around, but our people, especially when things get a little tight, and that prophecy about the MOTB, that little mandatory implantation hits, they are going to be running to Egypt for help, trusting in oppression. God, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm trying to find Isaiah. All right, so this is where we'll end it. It'll be Isaiah 1-3, and then we'll read 12. Isaiah 30, 1-3. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that taketh counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right? And those 2/3 of our people will not want to trust in the Lord. They were not given the gift to do that. Essentially, they were born to be judged, or some of them woke up just to be judged. I pray that is none of us. Listening and learning, preaching and teaching in sincerity and in truth. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, right? Because this devil is going down. So if you partake in their actions, you will partake in the reward, or should I say their destruction. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. All right, where everyone else is, or for those that have this understanding, that we're blessed to give it, we have answers. We know what's going on. We can look to the scriptures and say, yep, that's thus saith the Lord, and just pray and continue to pray that we will be kept and covered, watch these miracles happen. And everyone else will be looking in confusion, sitting in dust, sitting in darkness, wondering why, how, what, when, and what to do, not knowing. And what's going to bother them the most is the men of the Lord will have that calm spirit. It's something unsettling about somebody who's calm in the midst of chaos. Well, to those who are not in the know, obviously. And I'm going to skip down to verse 12, and that'll be the video. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly and in an instant. And that is why they are going to be so confused. It's going to happen suddenly in an instant. Although those of us who are watching, seeing this thing unfold and watched it in real time, to those that did not pay attention and scoffed and didn't care, it'll seem as if it happened in an instant. And boom, there is the chaos. So, I pray that you were edified. I may do a part 2. We'll probably go into Jack Johnson, but I really wanted to stick to the unity, being aware of unity, because I think there's something that may be coming up pretty soon as stuff starts to really, really get crazy, and it's more obvious even to the unlearned how crazy things are. Folks are going to be hollering, stick together, you and me together, blah, 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 blah. And, you can't be unequally yoked, right? So with that being said, shalom.